How's it going, guys? Dragonstar Production here, back with another What If video, and in this edition of Dragon Ball What Ifs, we'll be covering a fan favorite, and I figured because it's been a while since I uploaded a video that wasn't a remaster, well, I should do one that's a fan favorite. That's why we're going to be doing What If Shallot Was Canon Part 8. Like normal, no recaps, so be sure to catch up by the link above and below in the description. So with that being said, let's get into the video intro. Alright, so last time we left off with the Universe 7 winning the Tournament of Destroyers tournament, or other known as the Universe 6 tournament, and then we'd actually have Leek, who gets trapped in the shenanigans with Goten and Trunks on planet Patafu. And that's actually where we're going to be picking off this video, right when Leek, Vegeta, and the others arrive back on Earth. When they arrive back on Earth, both Goten and Trunks are immediately grounded, while Vegeta, on the other hand, is pissed at Leek, not his son. See, Vegeta was forced to watch a copy fight Leek, and not only fight him, but lose. This runs all over Vegeta. Vegeta was tired of being outclassed, so before Leek could actually fly off, Vegeta wanted a rematch, and Leek didn't really want to fight, but knowing that he couldn't say no to Vegeta, he simply tells him to pick the location. But before we get into that rematch, let's jump over to what Kakarot and Shallot are actually doing at this time. These two are competing, pulling up radishes, while Chi-Chi and Launch watch from the house. Shallot and Kakarot are actually evenly matched for the most part when it comes to pulling up the radishes. Shallot and Kakarot both don't want to lose this, even in a small competition like this, so the two actually power up to their most powerful forms, or at least one of them in Super Saiyan Blue, until Kakarot steals the upper hand by using Blue Kaioken. This gave Kakarot the win, but the competition aside, Shallot knew that he had to do something to catch up to Kakarot. He just had to figure out what it was. And finally, we'll cover Gohan and Piccolo, where these two have been training every day after Gohan finishes his working as being a scholar, making both Gohan and Piccolo both stronger, way stronger than they were in canon. And with that being said, now I think it's been long enough, let's get into the Vegeta vs. Leek rematch. Vegeta was ready while Leek was kinda intimidated. He was actually having to stare the real Vegeta in the face and ready for battle. Vegeta, though, doesn't waste any time in charging at Leek, who blocks Vegeta's fist. Vegeta, though, doesn't let this bother him. Instead, he knees Leek directly in the stomach as he then delivers an uppercut connecting directly under Leek's jaw. Leek is beaten down but gets up again, but before the two could actually continue their fight, they both would feel an energy they haven't felt in about 3 to 4 parts ago. And if you couldn't guess already, it would be future Trunks arriving in the time machine. Just like in canon, Trunks would explain the threat of his timeline, and let me just say, everybody is shocked to hear about an evil Kakarot terrorizing Trunks' timeline. However, it was right in that moment, as soon as Trunks would finish talking, that a portal would open up with none other than that Kakarot Black coming out of it. Everybody would be surprised, but before anybody could do anything, Shallot appeared right in front of Kakarot Black. So, who the hell are you? Kakarot Black wouldn't say anything besides, well, why don't you just look at me? Shallot claimed he didn't have time to toy around and that he would dart directly towards Kakarot Black, and in his base, Shallot was being pushed, but as soon as Shallot powered up into Blue, Black stood absolutely no chance. Unlike Goku, Shallot didn't power up to Super Saiyan, he wanted to take Black out right here and now. Shallot would punch Black across the jaw, then right in the gut. Black tumbled to the ground, and as soon as Shallot charged up a final cannon, it was before Shallot could release the blast that Black was already suddenly getting pulled back into the portal, back into Trunks' timeline. And in this timeline, Black didn't destroy Trunks' time machine, so Trunks would actually be able to take Kakarot, Vegeta, and Shallot to his timeline right then, but this could possibly be a mistake. And this was because Kakarot Black was awaiting the time machine to arrive in their timeline. And I'm fully aware that Black was weaker, but since he's seen Super Saiyan Blue, Kakarot Black was able to access this form and get it even stronger than what he was in canon. But the gang didn't know this and just argued about who was going to fight first. When finally Kakarot won a game of rock, paper, scissors, so gets to fight Black first. And when I say that Kakarot is the first to fight Black, well, I mean that Kakarot is the first to get Vegeta'd. As soon as Kakarot dashes in a Black, Black powers up to his Super Saiyan Rose form, weaves Kakarot's punch just to drive his fist directly through Kakarot's chest. Although this doesn't kill Kakarot, it does get surely close. And bad luck for Kakarot, the group had no senzu beans because they left right after Black did, so that means that, well, they can't heal up. And seeing Kakarot on the ground, helpless, all this does is piss Shallot off, who then rages out against Black. Black, though, doesn't fight back, as he realizes that the Zenkai that he's going to get from getting his butt kicked is only going to make him stronger. Shallot eventually starts pushing Black near death when Black decides to stop playing around himself, as Black charges up even more as he then takes the lead over Shallot. In fact, Black even shoots off a Kamehameha, nailing directly onto Shallot, causing him to crash back to his base form. Vegeta on the sidelines is just getting more and more irritated, knowing that he can't do very much after seeing both Kakarot and Shallot get beat so easily by Black. But for his son, Vegeta bites his pride and asks his son to attack with him. Although the father-son duo does put up a good fight, they still can't outdo Black's power. And finally, Black is actually ready to end these mortals once and for all. But first, he explains who exactly he is. Black goes into great detail, but because he didn't finish the job off right away, Yajirobe, future Yajirobe that is able to come and give Shallot, Kakarot, Vegeta, and Trunks all a senzu bean. This doesn't seem like much. However, Shallot believes the best thing that the group can do is actually to retreat and head back to the past so that they can regroup and figure out a plan. This would then happen, but Beerus wouldn't be very happy after figuring out that his trainees are using a time machine. Beerus would be quite pissed off at first, but once Kakarot explains to Beerus who Kakarot Black is and how he's a Kai from a different universe, Beerus would have a change of mind and he would actually get Whis to then take him to Zamasu's universe. So with that being said, basically everything that happens with Zamasu in canon with Beerus, Whis, and Goku all show up there, well yeah, this all happens in canon. But in the meantime, Shallot and Vegeta would actually take it upon themselves to train inside the hyperbolic time chamber together. And the biggest reason why Vegeta and Shallot would decide to train together in the hyperbolic time chamber is because they knew that they had to figure out a way to beat Black, and just normal Super Saiyan Blue wasn't going to cut it, and neither one of them knew Kaioken. So they had to figure out something, even if that meant mastering a form that they already had. And for Trunks, well, he wanted to catch up with Gohan. And unlike in canon, the two were actually able to train instead of catching up on, well, eating ice cream. But Gohan isn't the only one there though, because they are sparring. Both half-breeds get nailed by someone's ki blast. As they turn around, they actually notice both Leek and Piccolo, who figure they'd join in on the fight. The four continue training, and during the training, it's like Gohan, Leek, and Piccolo can all feel some power inside of Trunks. Although not being sure quite what it is, this power was definitely something they could feel. However, when Kakarot arrives back, he then notices everybody training. Knowing that it was nearly time to head back to Trunks' timeline, so Kakarot decides to join Shallot and Vegeta in the hyperbolic time chamber for the rest of the time, having Bulma bring up some extra food whenever she could. But when Kakarot steps inside the hyperbolic time chamber, he is amazed. He cannot believe the growth of both Vegeta and Shallot. But instead of discussing that growth here, now let's jump straight into the fight that's going to be happening that is going to address their powers. So with that being said, the training session and the preparation for Kakarot Black is complete, and Shallot, Kakarot, and Vegeta, Trunks all travel back to the future timeline to actually defeat Black once and for all. And upon arrival, the four Saiyans drew up a game plan. They knew that Black could grow stronger at a very fast rate, so they knew that they had to finish this off, and they had to finish it off quick. So with that being said, Shallot would then instruct Kakarot to ignite the fight by using Blue Kaioken, which Kakarot does very successfully and is actually able to hold his own against Black, if not besting him at this time. Shallot though knew that this meant nothing if Black makes it out alive, so Shallot would then tell Vegeta to do what he does best and fight. So now we have Vegeta and Kakarot both pounding on Black. In fact, Black was pretty helpless. He would then eat punch after punch until crashing to the ground, as Black isn't even able to stand up on his own. Shallot then sees the fight coming to an end, then uses an instant transmission and appears right in front of Black, and then he whispers two words that sends Black into a panic. Mastered Blue. Shallot powers up into Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, just like in the Dragon Ball Super manga. Shallot then takes his hand and he draws him back, as he then releases an enormous final cannon that evaporates Black completely. Black, not being immortal, could be killed, and Shallot does just that. But because Black is dead, that doesn't mean the threat is really gone. Because as the smoke clears from Shallot's final cannon, Trunks acknowledges a green being floating in the sky. Kakarot, though, is able to acknowledge that this is actually Zamasu, sending everyone into a big confusion. However, this doesn't stop Trunks from full force charging towards Zamasu. Trunks clearly had the upper hand, as he would then slice Zamasu into 1,000 pieces, then blast him with a burning attack. However, the same thing would happen when the smoke cleared. There stood Zamasu, almost as if he was untouched. Zamasu then says that he was immortal thanks to the Super Dragon Balls, but before he could finish talking, Trunks' rage began to boil. Trunks was tired of his timeline being in danger, and he vowed to end it once and for all as his auras lit into Super Saiyan Rage. Trunks would then give Zamasu a second beating in a row, and as he would then cut Zamasu into 1,000,000 pieces, except this time, Trunks wouldn't blast him. Instead, Trunks decides to leave Zamasu in 1,000 pieces. This causes the four Saiyans to all laugh. However, with that being said, the threat was now gone, and Trunks' timeline was more saved than it ever has been before. Trunks would then stay in his timeline as he and Mai was able to rebuild everything that they lost, while Shallot, Vegeta, and Kakarot all headed back to the past just for Zeno to call up Kakarot for a universal tournament between all the universes. And that's actually where we're going to be leaving off this story. I really hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the story. Of course, it's been fun to write. I mean, it was What If Shallot was canon. Let me know what you guys like down below. Also, talking about likes, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon if you want to get alerts whenever I upload, post on the community tab, or other things like that. And also, if you want to, I have been posting on a lot on Twitter more lately, and join the Discord. That being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Dragonstar Productions is out.
Congratulations, champ. You made it to the end of the video. Now, if you hit that subscription button, that thumbs up button, and that bell icon, you won't catch a dynamite kick.